Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Senior Podcast Show. Of course, we are back with another special guest. I am Corey Lear, the Director of Communications with the Senior Companies, and I am joined today by Sara Kenyon. She is the American House Westland Venoy Executive Director. Welcome, Sara.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. When we got to first meet a couple months back, you provided me and one of our coworkers a tour, and it was so amazing. You have so many great amenities at the community. We really enjoyed ourselves. And we also got to meet some of your residents, and they were the best part.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was really happy to show you around.
We also created a commercial for Sara's community, which we will add in the description down below so that you can view it and get a glimpse of her community in person. Well, virtually. But we encourage you to look in person as well.
Great.
So if you have been watching the Senior Podcast Show, the past couple of episodes, we have talked about many different things that go on in senior living, whether that is family dynamics or better understanding the levels of care offered within senior living, and also the questions that you should ask when you are going on tours within communities. A lot of communities offer so many different amenities that we wanted to bring Sara on today so that she could discuss in depth the different activities and different techniques that you can utilize when you're trying to assist someone who has a memory impairment, whether that is dementia or some other type of memory loss, disease, or process. Sara is a certified dementia practitioner, and she has been in senior living for a good handful of years. She was an activities director and is now the executive director, as I mentioned before. It is clear to me when we took that tour that you have a real passion for senior living and making sure that your residents are comfortable and happy.
I do. When I first took this job, it was as the activity director over 8 years ago. And I honestly wasn't sure I could do it. I had worked with children before, and coming to American House was a little scary at first, but I'll tell you what, they are amazing. I just love the seniors, the stories they have to tell, and bringing joy to them brings a joy to me. They're a real blessing to be around.
Absolutely, they are. And I think, having that background in helping children, I mean, it all goes together at some point, because at the end of the day, the age of the person doesn't end up mattering,
Right.
Yeah, that's really special. Can you share some of the special activities that are meaningful for your group of residents particularly?
Sure. Well, in our memory care, we offer the memory care it's an intimate hallway. It's 14 apartments with a private dining area, its own activity space. Mm-hmm. And so it's a small, intimate area, easy to navigate, so it's not too overwhelming. But in that, we had to be creative with where we put certain things for activities. We have on the wall, we have a big quilt. It's a sensory quilt. It's got zippers, buttons, different textures, things to touch and feel, things just to fiddle with, fidget with. We've got old advertisements hanging on the wall, and those spark some great conversations. We've got, an old Tony the Tiger advertisement, old Fanta Pop, AC Delco, some other neat things. We've got a laundry folding station. There's clotheslines on the wall, and there's children's clothes hung up. There's towels. There's just always something that as you walk down the hall, something to interact with or to do. And then there is the main area, and we've got a chalkboard, we've got music, we've got a record player. Yes, a record player.
Well, you got to do those things to the demographic that you're serving.
Exactly. They know what a record player is. They know how to use it. But we also have Alexa. Alexa is great. She reads stories. She plays different genres of music.
Yeah.
Does trivia, so we have both ends of the spectrum there for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think if you aren't familiar working with someone who has dementia or another type of memory impairment, you might think, well, why would they ever want to fold clothes, or why would they ever want to, have children's clothes or something like that.
Right. Well, they come from a generation where the woman kept the home. Her job was the home. They wanted to keep the house clean, then make sure their children were well taken care of, their husband was well taken care of. And so for them to be able to help out with those things still, we have little dusters, and there's a couple of women that like to help the housekeeper for 15-20 minutes a day, but that brings them pride and joy to be able to help to still do those things and feel like they still matter, like they still have a purpose, and they're not just sitting in a corner with nothing to do or cast aside.
That's right.
That is the last thing you want someone to feel. I mean, because then they're just going to shrivel up. That's just so sad. So to have a purpose, to be able to help out. We have a station with a bassinet and a couple of realistic babies, and some of the women really love to care for them. They rock them to sleep. They give them baths. They change their clothes. To be able to help fold that laundry, to help the housekeepers fold the laundry is they feel like to be able to do something for someone else and still matter. It's very important.
I think that is one of the most important things that you can do, whether someone is in a community and they are in a memory care, or they're in assisted living, or you are taking care of someone at home who has dementia, because giving them a purpose helps them feel like themselves again, even though they might not be able to verbalize that, but it also keeps their brain busy in a way that can help sort of deter any behaviors that we might not like to see that can sometimes happen in those who have a dementia.
Exactly. And then there's also, we also need to find things that will bring joy to them and not just have that purpose. You got to have fun.
Absolutely.
So there's one of our ladies, she's very good at sewing still. I mean, her fingers still work really well. And
that muscle memory.
That's right. So she will, if we've got a pillow in the common area that's got a hole in it, she will stitch it shut. She will take care of that for you. But she also loves to show others how to crochet.
Really?
She does. And my crochet skills aren't that great. She was helping me out. She was more than happy to let me know that not that way, this way. So, so again, that gave her a purpose, but also gave her joy.
And then you're happy too, because then you're learning something and you see that joy come out of her.
Right. And then they really enjoyed the music.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get somebody to do something, put on some happy, upbeat music, and they will come to find out what's going on. How are you having fun?
Come out of their shell.
Exactly. And what can I do
curious.
with you? Right. They want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to get them to engage and help out with that. So
I feel like with some of the things that we've talked about, someone might ask, well, why should they have to fold laundry? Why should they have to clean? But it's not about that. And I think it's so important that people understand you're not making them do that. If the cleaning cart or something like that is in the hallway and that's what they want to do, they are going to grab it.
Correct.
Like that is what people have to understand, is that's what they are naturally going to do. If that's something that they were inclined to do, or that is something that they did over and over throughout their life, you brought up like what those generational roles were.
Right.
That makes them happy. Why would you ever deter them from doing that?
You wouldn't. And
I hope not.
And yes, people do think, well,
I don't want my mom doing that.
Labor or something. It's like, no, it's that sense of purpose. It's needing something to do to feel worthwhile again. And like I said, I mean, it may only be for 15-20 minutes. But it gives them that sense of being worth
accomplishment.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter where you are at in your life. Even if you're a child, you want to see the value of your work.
Exactly.
I love that.
You too.
In Sarah's community, she also has some really unique things. I know you talked about having some of the ads and stuff, and obviously those are tailored for the age range of folks that you have there. But she also has a car on the wall.
we have the front end of a 69 Camaro. We've got a lot of, it's the Motor City. Yeah. So we have a lot of people that worked in the the assembly plants in the area, and
Yeah, the big three, right?
exactly. And to have the front end of that car on the wall, and the headlights work, it's really cool. They really enjoy that. We've got one of our residents was a photographer for a nearby speedway, and he donated some pictures that I've hung on the wall as well. So we've got some
Aw.
old cars at the speedway, tire spinning, and that has really drawn the attention of several of the men.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, let's face it, it is, the demographic is mostly women, but the men really want to have things.
They're not forgotten about.
No, absolutely not. So we've got the cars, we've got different hobbies that men would like. They're all notated somewhere on the wall to spark those conversations and interest again.
Yeah, that's amazing. What do you think is the most important thing about caring with someone who has a memory impairment?
I would say that just having patience and compassion. They're going to repeat things. They're going to look to you for guidance. There's going to be times where they're going to feel lost, and you're going to be the most important thing to help bring them back into some form of reality that makes them comfortable and happy again.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time, especially when people are first noticing some memory changes in someone that they care about, a lot of the time they'll try to correct that reality. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong if they're not used to dealing and trying to assist someone who has that memory impairment.
Right. Well, because again, like the repeated questions, they don't remember they asked you.
That's right.
So you just got to have patience and answer or listen again and roll on. And you can redirect too if it's still
key.
Yes, if it's still if it's ongoing over and over and over, you've heard the same question 10, 20 times. You redirect. You find something else to interest them, because sometimes that repetitiveness is because of an insecurity or something that's going on with inside them. And maybe you need to ask a few questions yourself to find out what's really going on, why this is bothering them so much.
Particular.
Right. Why is this particular question, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Or we've got a resident who used to pick her grandson up from the bus stop at 3:00. So 3:00 is very important to her.
Interesting.
And it will keep coming around and coming around and coming around. Well, then when 3:00 does happen to hit, well, then you have to let her know that her grandson went home with a friend that day, and we'll see him in a little while, and he's okay. Once she's over that hump, then it's okay again. Then it's okay again.
I love that you brought that up, because I think a lot of people too, like we mentioned, when they first start noticing those memory changes, will say, well, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie to my brother. I don't want to lie to, my Uncle Dan.
Right. But
you can't think of it like that.
You can't, because it's not, it's joining their reality.
That's it. You meet them where they are.
Exactly. You have to meet them where they are, because if you don't, you're going to cause more stress for them. They're going to cause more worry, make them more upset, unsettled. And it's, if it's snowing outside and it's 80 degrees out, that's okay. That's okay. Vision goes down as we age. Hearing goes down as we age. So we have to meet them where they're at.
I absolutely love that. And I've told this story before, but when I was doing therapy, I had a man, every time I would see him, he would say he's a different age. So one time I would see him and he was a young man in the Navy. One time I was doing therapy with him and he had a family. But then the next time he would be in his mid-20s and he didn't. And so every time then I would just ask him questions about what he said. And I would never try to say, oh, no, this is where you are. This is, you'd keep him focused on the reason why we were there and ask him questions about where he's at today.
Exactly. And that's just, it's the easiest way to do it. It causes so much less stress.
Yeah. In the past, I've also worked with clients who would say, when is my mom coming? I want to see my mom. And how, why would you want to tell someone who are maybe, in their 70s or 80s, your mom died. They might not think that they're 70 or 80. They might be 44 and they are supposed to have lunch with their mom today. Why would you want to induce that pain on that person again?
You don't. You absolutely don't. You never go down that path of telling someone that their loved one has passed away again, because to them, it's fresh.
The first time.
It's the first time. It's fresh and new and raw, and all those emotions. You're starting all over again, and you don't want to put them through that.
No, you don't want to hurt people. And so that's why I just encourage people to really, like Sara said, meet the person where they're at. You don't have to try to change their reality. Comfort them, redirect them, like you said with the school bus. Oh, yeah, you're right. You were supposed to pick them up today, but you know what? We got a call and
he went home with his friend.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. And so it keeps them calm. They think those people are safe. They'll say, hey, you know what? They're gonna be here at another time.
Exactly. And usually by then she's forgotten about it.
That's definitely the best way to handle those things. So we've talked about how to engage people both socially, how to sort of meet them where they are cognitively, but how do you approach a resident to begin an activity that has some more like a group, right? Because we talked about some of the individual type things that you do. So how do you encourage them in more of a group setting?
So what we do, first of all, like I mentioned before, their ability to see and hear goes downhill as we age. I mean, I'm getting the reading glasses out myself. So,
it's same. So you have
to, right. So you have to make sure when you approach someone that you approach them on their level.
Okay.
Because you might not think you're sneaking up on them, but for them, you might be sneaking up on them.
Okay.
So make sure that you are within their visual area and that they know you've entered the room or wherever, or that you're there, so that you're not startling them. But then another thing is we don't necessarily ask. It's, Mrs. Smith, it's time for.
Okay.
Will you, come with me and let's go have some fun. And then she's not really given the choice necessarily, but she's still asked in a very inviting way, and then she feels happy. Oh,
I want to do that.
She wants me to go with her.
Yeah.
So she's going to do that. Once you get people to the activity, depending on what it is, as I mentioned, music is big. So you can put on, some sort of, no matter what the activity is, you can put on some kind of introductory music that's going to, set the mood for the activity, make it happy, make it bouncy and lively. And then that gets people in the spirit of wanting to join in. And then, just everybody, whoever's leading the activity, having a very, happy and vibrant attitude about it. And that type of thing, it's contagious. Smiles are contagious.
Yeah,
so.
Laughing is contagious.
Exactly.
Sometimes even if they don't want to come, but like we said earlier, they hear the music or they hear something's going on. The next thing you know, they're poking their heads around.
Right. What's going on? What am I missing out on? So nobody wants to be left out. So that's usually what we'll do. And then in the opposite of that, when it's time to kind of get everybody to wind down, then you put on like some kind of soothing meditation type music to get, calm down, ready to, maybe switch gears for the next thing.
Yeah. So. Calm down, have a little rest before dinner or something like that.
Right, exactly.
How many activities do you think per day is important? I guess it sort of depends on the level of the activity.
It does. And it's always best. We do try and keep people busy throughout the day.
Yeah.
We want everyone to be able to get a good rest at night. And so if we keep people busy during the day, they're able to rest better at night. And we try and do, I'd say 4 to 5 really main activities throughout the day. But all day long, there's other little things going on that might not be on the calendar.
That just might be having a conversation. One of the caregivers is present with them and just doing what we're doing right now.
Exactly. It
doesn't seem like much, but honestly, that one-on-one time is really important. Or you have 2 residents together and you're talking with them.
Right. And then, or just, offering maybe some lemonade and cookies just to get a little extra hydration in, and a snack to boost up for the next thing. It's the little simple things in between that occur. Those helping the housekeeper for the 15-20 minutes, that's not going to be on the calendar, but it's going to occur.
But they're going to do it either way.
They are, absolutely. And you might as well put it to good use.
That's really funny. So do you feel like your activities are very regimented? Like, because I almost want to bring up and say like how important having a schedule for someone who has a memory impairment is. You're trying to get them up at the same time every day. Obviously, that doesn't work for all folks because some of us are night owls.
Right.
But trying to get them to eat at those same times every day. And, like every day at 10 o'clock, they might do exercise. Because although their impairment might be severe enough to where they don't recognize and say, oh, it's 10 o'clock, it's time for this. Mm-hmm. Their natural schedule, because you are so regimented, they're just used to that happening at that time.
Yes, and they do get used to a routine. I mean, and people tend to thrive with a routine.
Yeah, I do.
So
I'll lay on the couch all day if I don't have mine.
Exactly, and get nothing done.
Not good.
Right. So yes, we do have a schedule. There is a calendar of events. It's posted on the wall. Plus the families have access to it. The staff, of course, have access to it. And we like to follow that calendar as best we can. But then you also have to remember that every day is different.
Yes.
And things aren't always going to go as planned. And you do have to be willing to bend. So we try to have this regimented schedule.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to bend and go with the flow of how the day is going. There might be, certain things going on that might set somebody off a little bit, and you just need to switch gears and try a different activity. What worked yesterday might not always work today.
Or you just do one longer. If
they're enjoying it, you keep going.
Yeah, why would you ever stop it?
If it's not broke, don't fix
it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because then that might set someone off. Oh, wait, I'm not done yet.
Right.
I love that. You have provided so much information. I think one of the most important things that our audience can remember is that if your loved one is experiencing dementia, just make sure you help them to feel in control and have that empathy, meet them where they are. Like Sara said, memory loss and other symptoms of cognitive decline can leave someone feeling powerless. So giving them that power back, having them have that purpose is so amazing. And so, you mentioned a couple ideas, generationally that people can utilize, but no one knows that person better than you. So if they like tinkering with tools and they're still safe to have like nuts and bolts or something, give them that. I mean, I'm sure when someone comes in for the memory care, you have an assessment, you have a questionnaire that you provide for the family so that you can get to know that person on a closer level so that you can keep them busy with the things that they found important in their life before.
Exactly. We do have a resident questionnaire, resident profile that we ask families to help fill out initially. But then we also, the life enrichment director, she will work with the resident when they first come in and learn some more things, because what mom or dad used to do might not come as easy now.
True.
And so then we need to find something maybe similar or
adapt it.
Adapt it to make it a little easier for them, or make it so they can still enjoy it, maybe not doing it the same way.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. That's a wonderful way to say things, right? They might not be able to play the piano anymore, but doesn't mean you can't play it. Watch a video of it.
Right, exactly. And listening to piano music would be something enjoyable. Or listening to someone else play. So there's a variety of ways to meet the goal. It just, sometimes we have to think outside the box to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun part of working in this industry, is being creative and innovative. And then when you find something that works for that person, like, you're over the moon. You are so happy.
Right.
And
absolutely.
I think it's really cool too, talking about, because obviously there are caregivers there who help them. They do try to let them be as independent as possible. Just because someone has a memory impairment doesn't mean that they can't get dressed.
Correct.
And so you guys do encourage their independence.
Right, absolutely. And sometimes they just need some little cues to remind to do certain things. They can still do it. They just maybe forgot to do it, or um, sometimes you've got somebody who does it too many times in a row. So you just have to watch for things like that, and just give little cues and remind them to do things. And a lot of times, or maybe even break it down. So an activity, maybe like getting dressed or something, might seem a little overwhelming to somebody who, they could be staring at their closet. But if you pull the clothes out for them maybe and say, okay, this is what we're going to put on today, or maybe take your shirt off first to put on this one, just break it down for them. And it into simpler, smaller bites, and it usually goes very well.
That's incredible. Yeah. Having that boost of confidence and encouraging that self-esteem, giving them back a purpose is the main point of memory care. And also safety.
Most definitely.
Safety is probably number one. But you have a wonderful memory care program at American House Westland Venoy, but you also have independent living.
We do.
Yeah. So can you tell our audience a little bit about your independent living?
Sure. So we do have independent living. The American House Westland Venoy, we are a single story community. So there's no stairs, no elevators. It's very easy to navigate. We offer, it's maintenance-free living. We offer home-cooked meals, housekeeping and laundry services. Utilities are included except for phone and cable. And we offer a wide variety of activities for our independent living people as well. There's events that we hold each year. We celebrate Flag Day, Veterans Day, Valentine's Day. Our Christmas party is huge. And then there's other activities, events that we throw in there. We threw in a speakeasy. We'll throw in big parties for,
honestly, you guys don't even really need an excuse.
We don't. We don't. We just like to have fun.
Yeah.
And they like to have fun. I mean, we want their retirement to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Put on that fancy dress and go to a dinner party. It might be in the dining room, but it's still a dinner party.
Yeah.
Come on out, have fun. I mean, we have live entertainment on a weekly basis. Exercise classes, the cardio drumming is a favorite right now.
Everybody loves that.
It's a blast. They love it. The arts and crafts, we have our own version of painting with a twist. We show different videos and they do it step by step and have a ball. So I mean, it's a really, really fun time. And
you guys also do an Olympics.
We do.
They go up against other communities.
We do. There, other American House communities. We come together for a week in the summer, and we strut our stuff. We've got some champions for the beanbag toss there.
Do you at your community?
We do. Arts and crafts too.
They do painting, don't they?
They do. There's arts and crafts competitions. There's Wii bowling. A variety of throws, like the football throw, softball throw, stuff like that. So we've got the physical activities
competitive.
Yes, and then there's trivia.
I think when we were there, someone was practicing
probably
for it, and they were serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
They are not playing around.
They are not. They want to bring home that medal. So the Olympics is a big thing.
The bragging rights for the next year.
Exactly.
I love that. What about the apartment styles?
So we have studio and efficiency apartments. They are one-room apartments with a private bathroom, but we provide, again, it's maintenance free, and there's just so much to do within the community that it's really beautiful. We've redesigned many of the bathrooms in the apartments. And remodeled a lot of the efficiencies have been remodeled with the kitchenettes. They're just gorgeous now, and
also some of the other areas in the community.
Yes,
the main rooms in the community too.
Yes, the overall rooms. We've done a lot of redecorating and remodeling because this is their home, and we want them to be proud of it.
That's the biggest part, and I think it's really important for our audience to know that senior community living is about the resident, but it's also about the families, and the families are always welcome.
Yes, they are. Families are welcome and encouraged to come and attend any activity whatsoever. We really we want the families to be involved, and that's another thing. Going back to the memory care for a second, families sometimes get discouraged when they realize that mom or dad doesn't realize that they
It's them.
visited.
Yeah.
Or don't remember that it's them.
Mm-hmm.
But what they have to remember is that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes or half hour that they're there visiting, whatever it may be, their loved one is lighting up. Whether they know it's them or not, or they think it's their sister or some other family member,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. They're lighting up because they know you're there. And just because they forgot 2 seconds after you left, it's that the value of that time that you were there is so important. So
That loving attention.
Exactly. So we really do encourage families to be involved. We never want to turn families away from visiting their loved ones.
Absolutely not. I mean what brings more joy than your own family? And like you said, even if they aren't able to recognize, they still know that person is there for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you talked about having live music in the community. Again, no reason for parties except for just to party, which I absolutely love. Don't gotta twist my arm for that. You talked about how the lifestyle at American House is maintenance free. So if something goes wrong, something breaks, you guys are on it in no time. They don't have to worry about meals. That's right. I mean, they have to worry about is what kind of fun they're going to get into that day.
That's right. And encouraging socialization among them, to come out to the dining room and enjoy a meal with their friends, and even if there's not an activity running at that moment, you'll see groups of residents sitting together, chatting, enjoying a show together. They really come together as a family unit.
That's an amazing thing to see as well, especially if someone's really nervous at first and coming in, and then, a month goes down the road and they've found their group of people that they mesh with, and they meet their friends, and then, you see a different part of them, and it's really beautiful.
It is. It really is.
That's incredible. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your community?
Well, we are in a very affordable community. We offer assistance through the Westland Housing Commission, Section 8, and the My Choice Waiver Program. So there are other options available to help with funding. It's a very affordable community. I really think you're missing out if you don't come check us out.
It's true. I definitely encourage everyone who is in our area to come and take a tour. You can reach Sara and the community at 734-326-7777. Like I said, we encourage you to watch the video down below in the description, visit the website, and definitely call and take a tour if you have any questions.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all of those insights to helping someone and assisting someone who has a memory impairment. Whether the activities are creative or practical, they're all designed to keep those person's memories alive. And just remember that your loved one can benefit from the time spent working on those different crafts, whether that's a conversation or that's some of the other tasks that we talked about earlier. It improves their sense of independence, their confidence, their self-esteem, but it also creates a better quality of life for them. And again, just beyond safety, that's the number one goal of anyone who's providing care for someone that they love. And I say that too, because once you guys get to know someone, you do love and care about them. They become a part of your family. You see them every day, longer than you see your own family. And so those connections are very real, and they're so important when you're caring for someone who has a memory impairment. Again, Sara, thank you so much for joining us. You provided us with so many great insights, so much good information. We do encourage you to call Sara if you have any questions about memory impairments, dementia, you need help finding resources. Give me an email at kl@theseniormovers.com, or you can reach the Senior Podcast Show by phone at 586-204-8500. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Corey.
We'll see you on the next Senior Podcast Show. you.